Today I'm going to talk about Unichain, what it is, why we built it, and how it empowers app developers to build new user experiences. The title is a little provocative, but it expresses my belief that if you're building infrastructure, you should be empowering and focusing on how to make app developers provide new user experiences. So today I'm going to talk about how we're doing that at Unichain, how it affects our product roadmap, and how we think about supporting Unichain builders as we bring this to life. First, some stats. Unichain has been live for 2.5 weeks, and in that time, we've seen 117,000 smart contracts deployed, over 6 million transactions, and 155,000 wallets. And that's all organic, unincentivized growth, which we're very proud of. But this is a talk about apps, and building great on-chain apps is in Uniswap Labs' DNA. Over the past 5 years, we've seen over 94 million swaps, over 7 million swapping wallets, and today we have over 4 million monthly active users. At Uniswap, we have a customer support function, which has solved over 150,000 user tickets over the past 3 years. That's really useful for users, but it's also useful to show us the problems that our users are facing. And one thing we've noticed is that the blockchain's problems are our problems. This is a graph that shows the number of support tickets we get per day, along with the price of gas on Ethereum L1. And as you can see, they're very strongly correlated. When we talk to our users, they don't make a distinction between Uniswap, the app, and the blockchain on which it's built. And we get blamed for the blockchain's problems. I'm sure that many app developers in the audience empathize with this. If you talk to your users here at Ethereum ETHDenver, or on Twitter or Telegram, you can tell that users, especially new to crypto users, don't make a distinction, because why would they? That's why we built Unichain, to solve user problems. Unichain is faster and cheaper, it's built for interop, decentralized by design, and has less MEV. In my talk, I'll talk about each of these features and how we're bringing them to life for all of you. First, Unichain is faster and cheaper. Today it's 1 second and 1 cent to swap, and soon it'll be 250 milliseconds. I know many of you probably know this. It is ETHDenver after all, but I think worth going over why rollups are better and cheaper for users, especially in the context of Uniswap, where we see that the majority of swap volume still happens on ETH L1. L1 can be pretty expensive, and that's off-putting for a lot of users, especially new to crypto users who don't want to pay $45 for a swap or $100 to mint an NFT. What rollups do is that they roll up many user transactions into one L1 transaction. So you make a transaction on L2, it gets put into a set of L2 blocks, which are then posted in a single transaction to Ethereum L1. And so the effect of this is that transactions on Unichain are 95% cheaper than transactions on Ethereum L1. Unichain is also faster. In product development, we've noticed that one of the most important metrics associated with user retention is speed of interaction. If you're building an app, you want to make sure your transactions are snappy, modern, and fast. And so at Unichain, we've made design decisions that prioritize decreasing the amount of time needed to interact with the blockchain. Transactions on Unichain today are 1 second, and in the future, they'll be 250 milliseconds, which is about the speed of a blink of an eye. Unichain is also built for interop. The Ethereum rollup roadmap is working. Rollups are making blockchains better for users, faster, and cheaper. But it is also causing some problems like duplicate tokens. You have Ether on Base, on Unichain, on Ethereum L1, on Zora or Avalanche. And other problems too. Duplicate tokens. How do I get onto one chain but not another? Why don't I have ETH for gas on all these different chains? We want to support developers who are building next-gen crypto UX like this, where we have cross-chain balances in a single line displayed for users. But that is not possible right now because the underlying is not true. Ether on ETH L1 is not the same as Ether on Unichain. It's not the same as Ether on OP Mainnet. It's not the same as Ether on Base. And so what we think is needed is new technical innovation at the infrastructure layer to improve user experience. Unichain is built to be seamlessly interoperable, These are real technical challenges that we're addressing with our partners at Optimism so that people who are building on Unichain, as we make new technical breakthroughs, will be able to have a chain abstracted experience that is true. And they'll be able to build things that are next generation crypto UX. So what are we doing? First, we're pioneering the ERC 7683 standard with other partners in the Ethereum ecosystem. This is the technical standard that underlies the smooth bridging experience you may have experienced on our website, where bridging transactions are a couple seconds, a couple cents, and feel like just another transaction. Second, we're building the Unichain validation network, which provides fast finality. The market makers that underlie ERC 7683, they need assurances and fast ones that the transactions that they're making are actually happening. And the faster we provide those assurances, the cheaper and the faster they'll provide services to all of you. And that's why we're building the Unichain validation network. Third, we're contributing to the core development of native interop on the superchain. Native interop is a real technical innovation that breaks this mental model of, I have my chain on one token, I have my token on one chain, I need to bridge it to another chain, and I need to bridge it back. What we have with native interop is the same thing we have in Web 2 today, where an app developer deploys a website, and the cloud service provider is the one who worries about on what server it's running. If it doesn't have a lot of load, it's on one server. If it needs to expand to many servers, then it does so automatically. That's what will happen when you build cross-chain applications with Superchain native interop, and it's coming soon. So in the future, digital cash is possible. You have different stablecoins on different chains, and you can represent them to users as a single item. Batch spend is possible. You have stablecoins on a bunch of different chains. You can buy ETH from all those different chains in one single transaction. Next, Unichain is decentralized by design. As the Ethereum rollup roadmap has scaled, we've seen new security models and new trust assumptions. And those things work great. They are safe for users. They're making things better for users. But we saw an opportunity to advance decentralization, especially in the areas that we're experts in, which is on-chain trading and DeFi. Unichain is the first rollup to launch as stage 1 on day 1. This is a somewhat technical concept, but what it means for apps and users is that you have very strong security guarantees, the same guarantees that you came to blockchains in the first place for. Censorship resistance, self-custody. Stage 1 means that those are very strong guarantees on Unichain. Second, the Unichain validation network. We wanted users to be able to verify what was happening and attest to that for the service to serve other people in the community. We didn't want to tell users and apps, just trust us, just trust the single sequencer. We want to make it possible, and we will make it possible for everyone to participate, verify what's happening on Unichain, double check what's happening on Unichain, and tell everyone else about it. Lastly, we're making it possible to cryptographically verify block building using TEEs. And this is really important for Unichain because of our DeFi focus. I want to talk about what a TEE is because it can often feel complicated or get into really a lot of jargon, but I think it's actually very straightforward. TEEs enable us to verify block building. For those of you who don't know, block building is really important for on-chain trading because it's a very important part of the MEV process. And at Unichain, our goal is to minimize MEV. Essentially, in the traditional system, we have transactions on the left that come into the block builder, and then we see blocks emerge. But the problem is that normally block building is a black box. We see the transactions that come in, and we see the blocks that come out, but we don't know what's actually happening in the block builder, in the robot. But this is a solvable problem. And if you work on blockchains, you solve this problem every single day. What we do is we make the robot, the block builder, sign the function that it's executing, the code it's executing, with a private key embedded in the robot. And then we have an on-chain signature that we check against the public key to see if what we expected to be run was actually being run. So now transactions come in, they go into the block builder where they get signed with this private key, and then we have blocks that are attested to on-chain, and we can verify that the code that we expected to be run is actually being run. The truth is that we would build things in a decentralized way just because we wanted to. This is Uniswap. It's what we do. But we also think that decentralization is a big business advantage for us and for the apps that are building on top of Unichain. As we've built the Uniswap protocol, we've seen that when we build the protocol to be immutable, when we build it where there's no privileged position for Uniswap Labs or any other party in the ecosystem, that tens of thousands of builders integrate the Uniswap protocol into their apps and use the Uniswap protocol in ways that we could never have imagined. As an app developer, building on a decentralized chain is also good for you. Here's what you get. First, things work like you expect them to. What we say happens, you can verify it actually happens. You don't have to just trust us. Second, you get more than one source of truth. If you're trying to debug something, if you're trying to figure out a problem or just what the heck is going on, you don't have to trust us. You can cross-reference what we say happens with what someone else says happens. And that's easier for you to work with. But lastly, we're doing these decentralization features without compromising on UX. As app developers ourselves, we know that it doesn't matter if you build decentralized apps if no one uses them. And so we've made sure that as we add these new features for decentralization, we're not touching consensus and we're not reducing throughput. In fact, as we've built these new decentralization features, we've seen that we actually improve user experience, which has been fantastic. Lastly, Unichain has less MEV. First, there's no sandwiching. Second, faster blocks means LPs earn more fees from arbitrage. And lastly, priority ordering allows for new experiments in MEV minimization. First, there's no traditional sandwiching on Unichain. On blockchains like Solana, there's a public mempool. And so what can happen is that malicious searchers see the pending transactions, insert their own transactions ahead, and give users a worse execution price. And this has been a big problem over the past 6 to 9 months. So we got rid of that. In Unichain, because we're using a single sequencer architecture while still maintaining the vast majority of security guarantees that users get on Ethereum L1, we're able to get rid of the public mempool, keep transactions private, and make sure that transactions on Unichain are safe from standard sandwiching. Next, shorter block times mean more trading and more fees for LPs. Consider a situation on a slow chain where over the course of 36 seconds, there are 3 blocks. That means there are 3 opportunities to trade against that price. But the price is moving continuously. And so on a faster chain like Unichain, which has 1 second block times now and 250 millisecond block times soon, Unichain naturally exposes more opportunities to trade. And therefore, there's more trading and LPs earn more fees. Lastly, Unichain uses strict priority ordering to allow for MEV minimization. Priority fees are things that are paid in a transaction that affect where the transaction lands inside of a block. And so they're very important for MEV dynamics. Unichain orders things strictly by priority fee, which is not the same as on other chains. And that opens up a new design space that's very, very exciting. For example, apps can encode an order, a swap order, such that the output amount the user receives is a function that's directly proportional with the priority fee paid. So the output amount is directly proportional with the priority fee paid. That means as MEV searchers compete to fill this transaction, as they keep paying more and more priority fees, they also need to give out more and more output tokens, which means when you swap, you get more money. And this is a vast design space that's really, really exciting and available on Unichain right now. What these 3 things mean is that Unichain uniquely stands for MEV minimization. We don't think it's a valid and a good business metric that we should be proud of the total value extracted from users. We think it's better to build a blockchain that protects users, earns their loyalty, and keeps them coming back for the long run. We think that's a better business model for Unichain, and we think it's a better business model for apps built on top of Unichain. At Uniswap, we're here for the long run, and we know that our builders are too. So that's the story of Unichain. We saw the roll-up-centric roadmap happening, and there were opportunities to add something new. We saw purpose-built chains, a world of many L2s, new security models, and also opportunities to innovate at the L2 level. And that was an opportunity for Unichain. Unichain is scaling Ethereum the Uniswap way. We're designed for DeFi. We're redefining cross-chain interoperability, keeping decentralization at the heart of product development, and lowering value lost MEV. If you're an infra builder, I encourage you to pivot to apps. Think about how the infra features that you're building help app developers deliver better user experiences for their users. That's what we're doing at Unichain. If you're an app developer, build on Unichain. We're focused on solving user problems, but we need your help to do that. Build apps that have genuine innovation at their core. Build apps that have a great UX that is crisp, clean, and modern. Build apps that prioritize long-term growth and have confidence that you'll be around to enjoy it. If you need contract addresses or tech docs to deploy on Unichain, those are available at docs.unichain.org. If you want grants or builder support, co-marketing, or tech support, fill out the form at unichain.org/builderform. And if you want to use Unichain, bridge at app.uniswap.org. Thank you.
Choking ether night